Local filmmakers Jonathan Betcher and Ross Chapman are entering a new arena of communication. This time, it's the world of podcasts. They're here with the exciting news of the 4 Evansville podcasts. Good morning, you two.
Good morning. G, how's it going?
It's great
to be with you.
Good to see you both in your new digs there. All right, let's talk about 4 Evansville first. Ross, tell us the idea behind the organization, and then we'll talk about the podcast.
Well, thanks for the question. 4 Evansville was really started as an idea of how do we help people work together for our city to pursue the common good together, to pursue its flourishing. And so our role was basically to foster relationships, help people understand the sort of needs and dreams of our community, and look for places of alignment where kind of if you care about this thing, it doesn't matter about your background or your, whatever perspective you have, but if you care about that thing and I care about it, then let's work together. And so we really want to help people identify those places and find people who are pursuing the same things, and how can we work together to really make our community a more thriving, flourishing place.
Well, Jonathan, so that said, then talk about the guest that you want to line up for this conversation on a podcast.
Yeah, so really the podcast is an extension of that work that Ross talked about. It's an opportunity for us to invite people into conversations with people in our community who do care about a particular topic or issue and are actively working to make Evansville a place where everyone can flourish through that particular avenue. So we have lots of different topics lined up, but really we want to bring on experts and people who love Evansville and are actively working on a particular area so that listeners can understand more about the needs and dreams of our city and maybe find opportunities where they can get involved as well.
Well, Ross, have you launched your first podcast?
So we are launching February 1st, the first series this month. It's going to focus on what we're calling racial unity. So Jonathan has actually done a great job lining up who's going to be sharing, and I'll let him tell you about that. But we're excited to sort of just start out on this. And if you do find us on our website, 4evansville.org, there is an episode we recorded like a year ago just about learning and research and listening. And so we had to put all that on pause. And so we're kind of relaunching season 1 of the 4 Evansville podcast, launching February 1st. So, Jonathan, why don't you tell them who's going to be on?
Yeah, so we're doing 2 episodes per month. And so our episodes on racial unity, we're going to start with a conversation about Evansville, specifically the history of racial injustice and division in Evansville and how that can help us understand where we're at today. And then in our second episode, we're going to be hearing kind of more the personal aspect of racial reconciliation. And so I'll be having a conversation with Tanisha Carruthers, who's a local attorney, as well as Logan Miller, who's a local filmmaker, just kind of talking about their experience of race in Evansville and their perspective on what we can do to really come together as neighbors and as people, and really take it from kind of the broad perspective of these issues down to the very narrow, like me and you as neighbors in our city. What does it look like for us to live a racially reconciled life, and what are the values and benefits of that come for both of us when that happens?
I can't think of a more timely podcast around all of these topics that are so they're so heated right now in so many ways. So great to have conversations that will bring more light than heat, and I know that's exactly what your goal is.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and I think Evansville already kind of has this mentality of almost like a small town mentality of we're all neighbors, and while all of these highly divisive things are happening in our country, I think Evansville has always kind of had a knack for let's come together as neighbors and make sure that in our community we're looking out for each other, and we're being a place where everyone can belong and everybody can get along in some sense.
Well, for folks, we're wrapping it up now, but for folks who have maybe a suggestion about a topic or someone to interview, how do they reach out to you?
The best way might be just to shoot an email to info@forevansville.org. That's FOREvansville.org. You can remember that because you are for Evansville, and we want everyone to think of themselves as being for Evansville. So email info@forevansville.org. We'd love to hear ideas and potential guests, anything like that. Shoot them our way.
Ross and Jonathan, I always love what you do. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Angie.
We'll be back with more local lifestyles right after this.